A flare-up just over an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago, at a huge fire that crews thought that they'd put out overnight. It's in Allegan County's Fennville in the 200 block of Park Street at a well-known old building there. And Dee Morrison just got out there on scene. She joins us on the phone with the very latest from Fennville. Dee?
In fact, I just caught the fire chief for a couple of minutes here, and he is really frustrated with this situation. He can't imagine how a fire could have started in a different section of the building, the area they were trying to protect, a couple of hours after he's sure they put out the first fire. Now, he said that first fire they know was electrical because people inside the building, witnesses, saw sparks coming from an electrical box, and they were able to contain that fire to the front office part of this building. It was an old ink factory now being used as a recycling and warehouse center. They were trying to keep the fire in the office and not let it get into the warehouse because there were still some old barrels of chemicals in there, and they were concerned about that blowing up, and that is exactly what happened. A couple of hours later, they cleared the scene at 1 o'clock. They were called back a little after 3. He said when he got on scene, there were mushroom clouds going up over the building, huge flames, and things were exploding inside. So it was a dangerous situation, even more so than usual for firefighters. At this point, there's a lot of smoke. There's a little bit of fire that they haven't been able to get to because one of the metal walls has sort of melted and curled down on top of some flammable materials. They're trying to get water back inside there and take care of it. But at this point, the fire is mostly out. At daylight, they're going to be back with the fire inspectors and see if they can determine a cause for this second blaze. We'll follow up and let you know. Live in Fennville, I'm Dee Morrison, 24-hour News 8.
Dee, a couple questions here for you real fast while you're still on the line here. You just talked to the fire chief. When you're talking about this, is he thinking these are two separate fires then? It's not a flare-up? And then also, how far apart are the two fires that have occurred at this place?
Well, they're in two different sections of the building. He was careful not to say that he thinks it is absolutely suspicious, but he and the other firefighters on scene are pretty convinced that this is not simply a flare-up. They said it's in a completely separate part of the building and an area that they worked very hard to prevent fire from getting into. I asked if it's electrical, can it travel through, the lines, through the walls? Not to that section, not where the second fire flared up. So he does not believe it is sort of a secondary fire started by the first one. He thinks this is something separate started this, although he won't speculate as to what.
All right, thank you so much, Dee Morrison, live in Fennville.